Bonjour watcher, this is Johnny Mega 45 and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. Yes, I know we have played a lot. I believe it's almost about time to end this shit. So let's see what will happen next. Cockroach next. Someday Amane will surely come to understand. The only person she needs for ask for forgiveness is herself. Until there be a burden for her to bear, I will ease her guilt. I'll be her punishment. I offer her forgiveness even if no one else in the world does. No matter what everyone else says, I will give her absolution. If I simply stay by her side, someday her penance will reach its end. I know it will. The day will surely come when Amane can forgive herself. Now let's go back to our daily life. Even after those revelations, there hasn't been any major changes in my life with Amane. The only real difference that comes to my Amane calmed down on the physical clinginess. And I started to notice subtle shifts in her emotions. From what Sakashita tells me, this has been going on frequently even before now, but when something happy or fun happens, Amane tends to get a slightly brooding look on her face. Now that I understand these signs of her self-reproach and guiltful, while they are, I admonish her, you are allowed to smile. Sometimes I outright order her to do so. And although I know she's still thinking a cowardly instance like me has no right to be happy, she always managed to give me a sweet, artful smile in response. Amane once told me I had a crappy excuse for a smile, and she now I understand why she saw through it so easily. She's far more experienced master of the false smile. It might sound like a joke, but it says that Takizono Private Academy actually had formal lessons on how to push your face into an elegant smile. Kazuki had always been even worse at smiling than I was. Imagine her desperately trying to contort her face into a friendly simple. It's absolutely amusing. Yamane, tell me something. That smiling lesson or whatever, I assume Kazuki participated in it as well?
どうだろう。私 D 組だったから A 組の和樹とは授業が一緒になることはなかったし。
You are a true idiot then, Amane. Just thinking about it makes you laugh. Kazuki's cut style is polite in times to the teacher's piano with a beaming smile on her face. I think I pay money to see that.
確かにっていうか和樹のそんな姿を見たら逆に笑えないような気もするけどね。
Come to think of it, when Kazuki was still a grade schooler, I did see her practice her smile once.
嘘、あの和樹が
Not sure when it was exactly, but Kazuki came to deliver something I forgot to my classroom. A classmate came to me afterwards, asked me about her. Why is your big sister always so cranky in this kind of scary little voice? Of course I say that's just normal for her. When I returned home, I told Kazuki one of the kids in my class think it was kind of scary. Guess it was a little bit of a shock even for her. She started practicing her smile in front of the mirrors after her bath. Funny, right?
そうだね。
You're allowed to smile yourself, or even laugh.
分かってる。もう笑って話せる時期だってのは分かってるんだけどね。
Smile is the do of those who left behind. Please try.
でも私和樹のことを思い出すとやっぱり。
Not good, huh? For reading the contest of Amane's diary, I understand that she worshipped Kazuki like a god. Also, given her my standards orders to smile now would only worsen the suffering. To be honest, the topic of my sister still stings a bit to me as well. But I guess I have developed my own way of coping it. Amane, tell me something, do you really believe Kazuki is dead?
それってどういう意味？
Exactly what it sounds like. To be honest, I don't really buy it. Suddenly she's dead on paper, and they did find something that was thought to be Kazuki cause at the site. But I just can't believe she's died that easily.
それは私だって信じたくはないけど。
I'm going to get into slightly gruesome territory here, alright? The corpse of Kazuki they found on the site had been cut to pieces. You know that as well, right? But for some reason they never found her head. What do you think of that? She gave me a hint herself, didn't she? A long time ago, Kazuki told me about the swallow way carefully cutting and passing max 10 notes or into 11 slightly smaller ones. And she showed you a similar trick with 11 carats. Corpses are any difference. Just as example, if you happen to have 10 of them lying around, you could probably make 11, don't you think?
嘘。だってそんなことが人間と人参は違うよ。
What? She survived? Not to Kazuki they are.
じゃあ和樹は生きてるの？
I don't know that. If she alive, why hasn't she shown herself to us? It's all a mystery. But there's one thing I can't figure out about it. I don't think Kazuki will accept that easily. And she always did have a number of personalities. Character she's played. By now she might be casually going around her business somewhere as a totally different person. I can't shake that feeling. At the time, starting causes were discovered at the crash site. Many of them had been horribly damaged, but numbers matches. The investigator didn't have any reason to be suspicious, and the causes were not being identified. Well, there was no point in DNA testing. Here, the dismembered, partially concealed state are many of bodies. A few missing parts were being inspired any serious doubt. And of course, Kazuki's head was never discovered. When they discovered the causes, they did investigate the causes of death, but there was no DNA testing performed. No, I'm just saying it's possible to think that way. It's not like I have any real evidence.
でも、和樹は言ったよ。私は死なないって。いつか必ずまた会えるからって。確かに言ってた。
It will be long before this. Why? Because there are another 2 games I have to play. Right, but look, Amane, I'm not seriously trying to push things theory on you. All I meant was thinking Kazuki might be alive somewhere might help you find the courage to. You're not listening to what I say, are you? Hold on, where are you going all of a sudden? I barely remember sometimes when he dashes out his stomach, I follow her as he flies out the stairs. Don't open the door, but you can pick it up and make sure because she's in the closet. Hello, Amane-san, anyone home? What's this? Pulling out the storage area, carefully tucked away in the back of a closet, Amane takes out a sheaf of yellow memo paper, wrinkled and stained by a patch of dry mud. Even at a glance, I immediately recognize the familiar handwritten line in those pages. That's Kazuki writing, isn't it?
そう、それは和樹が私のために用意してくれた密林脱出メモだよ。
Huh. I take the papers off and I probably rip out the small notepad from Amane's hand. President Zame on the area around the canal done the product of Kazuki independent investigations. She also included a number of methods to assess that she read the forest, including orientations by the star. If your partner hesitates over the difficult, don't hesitate to take a detour. And when you think you use your physical strength may be failing you, take a rest, use the time to discard items from your rucksack, beginning with heavy etc. This soil is full of volcanic rocks and deserts, so the trees' roots are shallow and twisted. Also, their access to sunlight is regular, for there's reason the direction of their roots won't be a reliable navigational tool. Maintaining pressure on your ankles offers some release from sweating. Wear 2 sets of socks and pull them into the calf. Your lattice as it builds up will be less severe. Just don't expect this offer much protection and leeches. Very methodological. That's Kazuki for you.
でね、ここ見て。
Why did the music just stop? If you fail to escape, huh?
和樹が残したメモには、脱出に失敗したら居留地に戻ってこいって書いてあって、和樹が非常食を隠した穴の位置が記された地図があったの。
I see, judging from the fact that she wrote this, Kazuki must have known from the start there was a good chance she'd make you escape alone.
きっと和樹はこうなることを予想してたんだと思う。
But what made this come to mind all of a sudden?
さ、もしだよ。もし和樹が生きているとしたら、今和樹がどこにいるのかってヒントはここにあると思うんだよね。
Here, the scene of the incident.
そう。和樹が私に最後に残したものってきっとこの非常食を埋めた穴の中にあるんじゃないかな。和樹は事故の翌日シャベルを抱えて一人で森の中に入っていった。あれってバスの中から回収した食料とかを埋めに行ってたんだと思うんだ。和樹は時々一人でふっといなくなることがあって、ずいぶんトイレの近い子なんだなって思ってたけど、多分頻繁にその穴に何かを隠しに行ってたんじゃないかって。
I see. Sounds like the only realistic possibility to find any clues that might lead us to Kazuki.
そう。それに、もし和樹が死んでいたとしても、最後の遺品がそこに残されているってこと。ねえ、ユージ、行ってみない？
Go to the scene. That seems, I mean you.
確かにまだきついかもしれない。苦しい思い出ばっかり詰まってる場所だしね。でもいつかは克服しなければいけないことだと思うし、それにユージが一緒に行ってくれるなら多分大丈夫だと思うんだ。
I see.
まあちょっとしたデートだと思ってさ。悪いけど付き合ってよ。
And then you go, you will meet your Captain Sakashita and Mr. Ochi. Yeah, I was like, oh, we going to that place. Oh yeah. The very next morning, we borrowed the mini truck from the school, back at the ball, and readily outside to set off to the scene of the accident. At first, we planned to go by train, but the nearest station turned out to be more than 10 kilometers away from our driving far more convenient. The plan is to make our ways to the side, park in the lot at the floor of the mountain, side at the foot of the mountain, and walk from there. But fortunately, there's apparently been a memorial area on the side of the crash, which means a part of the mountain was created as well. We shouldn't have to worry about getting lost. When we first decided on this street, I managed a grueling hike through the woods. But it turns out the memorial is only 2.8 kilometers from the parking lot at the foot of the mountain. We don't need any particularly elaborate plans for the walk itself, but on the emotional level, some preparations are still necessary.
それじゃあ私、お供え用のお花とお線香を買ってくるから、ここで少し待ってて。
Yeah, I got it. Parking the mini truck near the Mishima train station, Amane slowly lowers herself out of the driver's seat. Not that it's anything surprising, she seems a little awkward and subdued. Watch Amane walk off with a purse in hand, dragging her face like an exhausted office worker heading out to buy her local lunch. I heave a little sigh. To be perfectly honest, it's not like I seriously believe Kazuki's alive. I'm sure it's the same for Amane. If anything, this visit to the scene of the ordeal has more to do with Amane's special oral memories head on. I don't think this hit could slash on Kazuki is particularly meaningful. My hopes are exactly high for some of the clue, but I'm just praying we won't end up dealing with something unpleasant. If Kazuki left her last will and testament of something in that hole, Amane might come out with despair and even deeper wounds than before. Even so, it's been many years since the accident. After all this time, Amane finally gained the courage to return. That feels like a significant change. Maybe she'll be able to start coming to terms with what happened. Maybe her burden will grow a little lighter. The point visiting a grave is to bring comfort to those left behind. That's a firm belief of mine. I may have been a little too lost in thought. I didn't notice the man approaches until she was standing immediately behind me.
Kazami Yuji-san ですよね。
Why did music stop? Yes! The man seems to pop out of nowhere. Concealing my surprise, I slowly turned to face him. Why you? Why your face look very ugly? Did he just call me by my name? I'm not famous enough to be recognized by a random stranger on the street. I quickly observed his face and then looked over his clothes on my head and looked with a single sweep on my eyes. I might be a light build, more likely in his mid-40s. I don't recognize the face, even though it's the middle of the summer. He's wearing a white red jacket and not heading out for a fishing trip. He got a hunting cape on top of his noticeable graying hair and a bit of old pair of long wool on his feet. On the whole, he's left a pretty shabby impression, but his colleague wearing his chin. The first-class name brand. I don't remember him as a local shop or anything, but if it's just some tourists come to fish in the city, it makes no sense that he know my name. Excuse me, but who are you?
おっとっと、ですよね。これは失礼。私は坂下と申しましてね、天音さんの大ファンなんですよ。
Sakashita? Nani? Amanes?
最近なんですか。ああ、天音さんに彼氏ができたと小耳に挟みましてね。一度お会いしてみたいなと思っておったのですよ。
You want to kill her? You came here just to meet me.
いえいえいえいえ。今日ここでお会いしたのは偶然なんですけどね。たまたま天音さんとご一緒のところをお見かけしたもので、なぜか妙に嬉しくなってしまいましてね。ついお声をかけさせていただいたと、そういうことでして、はい。
Is that so? That a lot of crap. The story is dubious enough, but my intuition tells me there's something insincere about the man. For one thing, he's forcing his face into a smile by jinking out the edge of his mouth. For another reason, his eyes are dark and cold, and there's a superficial gleamful on the surface. There's never two depths wells of oil. The man thinks his body odor almost enough, but something is about instincts. It's a familiar, unpleasant smell that makes the back of my nose tingly obsessively. This is a bloodlust tingle with madness. Pardon me, but what do you do for a living?
ああ、まあこんな身なりですからね。わからんのも無理もない話ですな。ええ、実はつい最近まで IT 関連の会社の取締役をしてたのですが、どうにも 生きがいというものをなくしてしまいましてね。急に仕事がバカらしくなったとでも言いますか、今はご覧の通り恥ずかしながら無職の身でしてね。
I see. Who is he? At the very least, he doesn't seem to be involved in my line of work. The face isn't familiar, but more importantly, he holds himself far too loosely for a pro. Even the language suits who spend most of their time behind that project a little more managed than this.
それでもね、会社を畳んでみて初めて分かったことというものもありましてね。真っ白だった私の頭の中にぽつりと目標のようなものが浮かんできたんですわ。目標なんて言ったら少し大げさかもしれませんね。なんと言いますかね、やり残したことがまだあったんだなーって気がついたんですよ。
Are you feeling alright?
何がでしょう。そうか、時間ですか。私は暇ですが、そうですね、いきなりこんな話を聞かされても退屈ですよね。すみません。
Not at all.
それじゃ私はこれで失礼します。くだらない話に付き合わせてしまってどうもすみませんでした。
He will return later. The man abruptly turns around and walks right out. His small hunchback unsteadily swaying back and forth. I watch as he goes, but out of the sight he seems to disappear into the net. What the? The sound of his footsteps, the faint smell of his colleagues, the sight of his hunting cape. Whizzed forward, I can't pick out any trace of the man. He melted into the lower bars of the station streets as if he was never here in the first place. Wasn't a ghost, was he? Of course, I don't really believe in that same such thing, but there's sudden appears as he could abruptly as if he goes to his again.
お待たせ。何？どうかしたの？
No, it's nothing. This weird old man just struck up a conversation, that's all.
変なおっさん？誰？
Don't know, kind of a creepy one though. There's no doubt in my mind he's an amateur, but I can't get over the glimpse of madness in those eyes. I've seen that glimpse before. Those are the eyes of a man who's thrown away everything. The eyes of a man who fixates himself on one goal, betting all for the sake of his country, comrades or family. The crazy eyes of a fanatic. Amane, he called himself your friend. Anyone come to mind?
自慢じゃないけど、私中年には結構モテるからな。誰だろう。
I have a bad feeling about this.
何？そんなに変な人だったの？
It was like talking to a grim reaper in human form. I got this sickening tingle in my chest.
やだ、ちょっと大丈夫？
I experienced something like this before. I don't know when exactly, probably in early childhood. It's a vague memory that my mind doesn't want to remember too clearly. And the unpleasant memory locked away for many years suddenly oozes out from a cut in the wall. The old man, huh? I close my eyes slowly as the sensation of cold perspiration flows in my armpits. Trickles of salty sweat roll down my forehead and over my closed eyelids. My hands are clenched tightly to calm me fix. It takes conscious efforts to keep my knees from trembling. It's been a while since I remember. A while something triggered this psychological trauma.
ユージ、本当に大丈夫？なんかすごい汗だよ。
Yeah, I'm fine.
どうする？今日はもうやめにして帰ろうか？
No, you have finally managed to make up your mind to do this. Let's go. The madness I sense in that man. Was it just a figment of my imagination? Did the sin of that college revive various memories of my fathers in my unconscious mind, leading me to a paranoid post-traumatic illusion? Whatever the case, at the moment I just want to put as much distance between me and this man as possible. Our destination is about 2.5 hours away from Ishamaki by highway. While I remain a little uneasy and let Amane take the wheel, it will be difficult to complain given an obvious technical skill as a driver. The main thrust accelerated smoothly as we went to it's a four-cylinder engine purring.
しまったな。タイヤの空気圧低かったかな。高架のジョイントで少しお尻振るね。
But yeah, since we don't have a load in the back.
どうしよう。次のサービスエリアで止まってエアの調節しようか。
Hardly necessary any more pressure. It will ride rough once we're off the highway. Just turn the wheel into the sway and keep our weight evenly distributed. Focus on directing the rear driver's side tire and we should fish from there.
ちょい踏み気味ってことかな。こんな感じ？
Right, like you're gently turning on an exit.
ああ、なるほどね。雪道の要領か。面圧の均等分配ね。 人間トルクスプリッターだ。
You have lost me now. In any case, all I'm saying is we got 4 tires on this thing, so make use of it all.
難しいことを簡単に言ってくれるよね。私の場合さらっとやってるように見えるけど結構大変なんだよそれ。
I do, I also know what you can do. I wouldn't have said that to just anyone.
なんかさ、やっぱユージって和樹の弟だよね。
What's that supposed to mean?
なんかさ、うまく言えないけどやっぱ似てるんだよ、和樹もユージも。
Can't deny, in a lot of ways, Kazuki raised me more than my parents did.
そっか。
Don't get so transparently distressed at every little things I say, will you? I don't want to tiptoe around trying to be tactful. It's a pain in the ass.
はっきり言うな。
Kazuki is as delicate subject for me as you seem think. Not that I can completely laugh it off, but there's no need to get gravely serious every time I mention her name. And for wise words, I'm not trying to torture you about her dad earlier.
でも
Yeah, I know. When you want me to bully you, you just say the word. I'll play along unless I have something better to do with my time.
そういう意地の悪い言い方ほんと似てるな。
Don't laugh at me, woman. This is as much as I can do. I push and pull Amane around, keep her hands so full that she doesn't even have the time to get depressed. And in a darkness moment, I scold her outright. You have got a responsibility to live for my sake. I won't let you to run away from it. That is all I can do for her, but I believe it'll be enough. I believe she'll be safe someday. I have to believe that. But for now, Amane still recalls for happiness, sinking to strong depression at the best of times. If the weight grew too heavily on her, she tugged on my ears, lift on that no one else can see, then whispered into my ears, always the same word. Hey, bully me. I need my punishment for the day, please. Tormented and teased, she finds the peace of mind that eludes her in a moment of gentle kindness. I had accepted Amane, and that strange, contradictory jumble of emotions, just as she accepted me. We'll work through them together from now on. I don't know how many years that will take. If things go badly, Amane might be like this for the rest of her life. But as long as I'm able to tag along, I will. Hey.
何思い出し笑い？
Not just kind of amused at myself, thinking seriously about the future and all that.
何それ、将来ぐらい誰だって考えるでしょ。
I guess so. Everyone does, don't they? Sooner or later, everything that lives reaches the same future. In other words, that I imagine mine a number of times. No. Imagine might not be the real word. I brush against a very real possibility of that with a number of times, implanted the awareness that I might well lose my life this way in my mind. And in those visions, I always die alone without exception. I live the world with all the dignity of a stray dog in the woods. No one grieves, no one gets a phone call, my causes is exposed in a business-like manner. And that's how I always seen it playing out. For a long time, I scraped my way through life, unable to consider even my own path. And now I'm seriously thinking about the future for the sake of a single woman. If not, laughable, what is?
ねえ、ユージはさ、将来どうするつもり？
That's an amazingly vague question. Why are you asking me specifically?
だからずっと私のそばにいてくれるんだよね。
I get it. You want me to propose?
まあそうなんだけどさ、ねユージ、寮に帰ったら辞書でデリカシーって言葉について調べた方がいいよ。
Of course, I'm thinking about marriage as well. But since I've been living pretty selfishly and irresponsibly up until now, it's honestly kind of difficult to ever imagine. I never lived the sort of life I could tell others about with pride. I'm pretty sure the idea of leaving any trace of my passing through this world has always repelled me. I didn't want to get married, much less have kids. I didn't want to take on anything that would be left behind after my death. Same reasons I never owned more property than I carry on my back. But I started to think that for money's sake, I'd be willing to throw that likeness away. If so, I run smack into a logistical problem. Of course, I'm referring to my job. I mean, the truth is, I'm currently at something of a loss. After another 1.5 years at my job, my fears came turns out. Should I renew my contract, spend a year at the instructor while sitting exam and aim for promotion? Or should I resign, become a permanent reserve and look for other work? Which would you prefer?
って言われてもな、どう違うの？
The biggest difference will be in the level of danger. If I renew my contract and get promoted, my risk will go down way, but that also means my total salary will drop sharply. Whereas if I become a reserve member, I'll be able to take on the day job, so I might earn it based on my abilities, but When called back for emergency service, my job will be any less dangerous than they are now.
だったら私は安全な方がいいな。
But you know, even if I renew the contract, it will be difficult for me to move out the ranks. Still, I did attend a specialized school. It'll probably take me 10 years to make a service session chief, and getting any further will be hardly, maybe even impossible. My best salary today is, wow, promoted. 233, even if I work until the retirement age, maybe. It's not impossible to get by their own when you add in benefit and bonuses, but...
お給料の金額ってもう決まっちゃってるの？
Right, our company's got a pay scale, so the salary corresponds to every rank is clearly defined.
でも危ない仕事はしなくていいんでしょ？
For women at least, but they also dependent on circumstances. If an emergency develops some big shot, say protect me, even because of your life, I won't be able to disobey.
嫌だって言えないの？
Well, you can try, but when your superior say volunteer steps forward, hanging back isn't really an option. When you get right down to it, that's what they're paying us for.
そうなんだ。
But then again, if I die on the job as a former employee, there will apparently be $100 million as payment to my family.
そういう問題じゃないと思う。
If I become a permanent reservist, I will still call out for emergency, but operating under the table, I can work a little more flexibility. In other words, I'll be able to play dirty behind the scenes without anyone complaining. I might be able to pull through serious crises through skills and character. Not an option for a normal employee.
結局どっちが安全なの？
As long as there are any dramatic upheavals in the world, really no way the contrast to become a regular employee carries less risk. But in the case of the large-scale emergency, being a reserve will be comparatively safer.
微妙。ユージはどうしたいの？
All things considered, I don't want to become a permanent reserve and look for another job. If we get married and start a family, I want to be able to tell my kids what daddy's job is.
そこまで考えてるんだ。
Don't sound so surprised. Just whose fault do you think that is? A little while ago, I was thinking more than a day or two ahead at most.
それっていいことなんだよね。
Probably, yeah.
私はユージの決めた方で構わないよ。契約更新してお給料が安くても私も働けばいいことだし、他の仕事に就きたいならそれでも構わない。
If I'm a permanent reserve, they're going to keep me on a short list for 5 years. I do need to apply in advance to move into a new home or travel abroad. I won't be free to pick any job I want either.
それでも他の仕事がいいんでしょ？大丈夫。仕事が見つからなかったら2人で長距離トラックの運転手でもやろうよ。
Will you seriously be okay with that?
いいんじゃない？私タイヤのついてる乗り物大好きだし、意外と似合うと思うな。
Well, come to think of it, I do have a lead on the job, I guess. Not that anything's been settled yet, but the principal floated the idea of taking me on the Mihama.
先生になるってこと？
Nothing decided yet.
でも何の先生になるの？そっか。うちって体育の先生いないよね。体育の先生は？
Like I keep trying to tell you, nothing's decided yet.
でもそれすごくいいと思うよ。さっきの子供の話じゃないけどさ、パパは先生ですってすっごくわかりやすいんじゃない？
I guess so.
そうだよね。結婚か。
I was planning to introduce myself to your family pretty soon, but marriage will be ways off yet. I have to get a job first at the very least.
そうだね。それでも嬉しいな。なんだろう、なんか急に生きる希望、そんなのが見えてきた感じ。
That's a good thing. Optimism is, if you put it nicely, wishful thinking if you don't. I think it was Kazuki who told me that there are both manifestations of a psychological self-defense mechanism that keep us from committing suicide. But whichever it is, I don't think daydreams and theoretical scenarios are going to save money, but it's not a bad place to start. Oh. We were at the parking lot behind the motors a little after 10, slightly behind schedule. Since we didn't know where to trace up the motorway, we stopped into a diner and asked around. But apparently, the crash site had become somewhat popular among the locals as a hunted spot. So the answer we received was, "What, you too?" and the judgmental glare. I will explain that I'm a brave of family members. They finally point us towards the unmarked entrance. The utterly desert path up the mountain had gently inclined and unexpected. The locals rarely set foot in there, and the trickles of visitors has slowed over by years, so the trace, neglect, and overgrown by now has been half reclaimed by the premier forest. Not too far beyond this tangled jungle, we glimpsed a private golf club with neatly manicured grounds, but on this hideout scenery consists of bristly waist-high grasses swaying in a breeze, trees sticking out of the harsh soil at odd angles, and the slanting rocky path ahead. That surprisingly gentle incline didn't last long either. 10 minutes into the forest, the slope quickly grew intense. Thanks to the vigorous exercise and high humidity, my back quickly soaked in unpleasant sweat. Noticed that Amane's began to lag behind. I come to a halt and turned around to face her. You alright, Amane?
大丈夫。当時に比べれば全然歩きやすいし。
The path fairly wide, probably cut through the forest with the installation of the memorial stone in mind. Even so, now that we run into steep stretches of road that we forced to scramble out on hands and knees. Since we're not pushing through thick grasses as we go, it must be significantly better than it was for Amane back then. But it's certainly not an easy stroll.
こんな道があの当時にもあればね。
No use saying that now, of course. Decided to interpret Amane's words as a monologue. I turned without comment and once again pushed forward on the rough mountain path. The further we advance, the twister the road grows, the more frequent and the severe it sounds now. Just as an experiment, I take out my M2 compass and open the lid as the grass the magnetic seems to be pointing north. When we drive, compass are harder to influence, but having finished sighting, I lower the compass to chest level and the needle immediately begins to shake. And when I place the compass on the ground, it serves as a test. The needle swings dramatically and fits itself in a complete and impossible direction. I take out my phone on the GPS as to say, well, how about this? While the latitude and longitude display accurately, the mapping gets nothing but a no signal message. I see this is rough. I'm standing on a well-defined trail right now, so I don't feel any anxiety, but a quick visual survey of the surrounding area reveals nothing else that could serve as a landmark. Without this fire glancing over your shoulders for a moment will probably be enough to completely throw off your orientation. Where a powerful blizzard may create a temporary white out a jungle distance produce a permanent green out. We spent many 3 hours now hiking up the mountain. The music just stopped. No music, right? It's been 30 minutes since our third short breathers. I'm just about to suggest taking a second longer break when I noticed that Amane's was extremely quiet. The look in her eyes suggests that we have reached familiar scenery.
多分こっち。
Then Amane's take point and follow a little way behind. Before long, we arrive in a gaping rocky ravine surrounded by all sides by overhanging trees.
ここはあの当時とほとんど変わってないんだね。
The rusted ruin was still lying where it fell 6 years ago. Most likely it was simply possible to remove it from this place.
そっか。あっちの方向に進めば3時間ぐらいで道路に出られたんだね。
If you had a trail leading right to it, even when aiming directly for a clear light, it's often impossible to get yourself traveling in a straight line through a dense forest. You take so many detours to avoid obstacles that your direction will eventually be thrown off. My company new employee received compass-based navigation instructions as part of the final training. Not to mention the basic compass operation. The final part of this little course involved throwing the new into a dense jungle road on without handwritten map and absolutely money then finding our way to a specific point. Given a half-adequate path, it would be a challenge hike, but in a perimeter forest without even animal trails, it's no joke. In the end, the majority lost their ways and give up. And these are adults who just spend a number of days learning how to orient themselves under difficult conditions. In some cases, they will spend a good 4 hours or so hiking through the woods with the GRADUAN map in one hand, only to find themselves back where they started. The instructions snaring what's wrong. Forget something? If anything, you did a hell of a job finding a way out of this place at all.
多分私が脱出できたのは偶然みたいなものなんだと思うよ。本当にこっちで合ってるのかなって私自身半信半疑で歩いてたし。それでも和樹の言う通りにしていればきっと助かるって信じていたから。
As she spoke, Amane downcast eyes fixed on the deep eye of a striking grenade centerfold standing before us. It seems to have been a while since the last visitor. The flower placed before the monument are truly wilted, and the offerings of drinks and cakes have clearly been battered by the animals. After cleaning that away, Amane swiftly plastered the vehicles and snatched she bought in Mishiyamake on the table set for the offerings. Then set out lights and lights her incense sticks.
みんな来るのが遅くなってごめんね。
Crouching down in front of the star, Amane shuts her eyes and brings her hands together.
正直私はまだみんなのことが怖いよ。でも逃げてるだけじゃどうしようもないから私もう逃げるのをやめるよ。私が逃げ出した後みんながここでどうなったのかはわからないけどきっ と楽な死に方はできなかったんだよね。みんな死んじゃったのに私だけ生き残って。許してなんて言えない。許されようなんて思うこと自体がずうずうしいことだって分かってる。だからもう謝らないよ。私その代わりこれからはずっとお礼を言うよ。みんなありがとう。
Alan is praying with an earnest intent look on her face, but I can't think of anything to say to the monument. It's just a stone. In the end, I know Kazuki's not in there, but it's simply not that I suddenly plunged into that cold stream. I simply can't find the words to speak to my sister. I never be able to handle this sort of thing very well. Years ago, when my American classmate Daniel Vega died on his job and I rushed over to his funeral, it was the same. Studying at Danny's coffin wrapped up into the stairs, I found myself at a loss. Hey Danny, you're kidding, right? The first minute I could possibly have died, right? You're just going to pull out of that thing and yeah, hey Shorty, something's wrong with that shit and it's right on your face, right? Stop with the crappy joke, Danny. Those were the only words that popped into my head. No words can reach the dead. If you want to talk about something, talk about the reason they're gone. No matter how we feel about the matter, people die all too easily when the circuses demand it. Second, the reason for the death of Kazuki and the others, I once asked Jay for copies of the investigation reports years ago now. Unexpectedly, the document indicated most had died of acute digestive disease, specifically oral transmitted infection, mainly colitis and hepatitis. The investigation conjured the groups had died in rapid suggestion fast 2 to 4 days after symptoms first emerged. The source of the infections was almost certainly the bushmen that added to their diet. Was the origin of the illness the dog they eaten after his death from sickness, or perhaps?
みんなをバラバラにしたのは誰なんだろうね。
Right. Yes, the corpses discovered in this place all have been severely mutilated, with the lone exception of Yoshihiko Ochi, the club's advisor. That disturbing scene dominated coverage of the accident, overwhelming the truth through sheer speculation. The phrase dismembering murders took a life of its own, ultimately leading to the public suspicions that the sole survivor might be the criminal responsible for leaving those gruesome corpses behind. But take a half serious look at the results of the investigation, and you see the autopsy suggests that body statistics got apart only after death. And since someone had escaped from the valley before the estimated time of death for most of the causes, it was simple enough to surmise she could have been responsible for their mutilation. There were plenty of whispered internet rumors suggesting that Amane must have deceived the investigator about the timing of her escape. But in any event, this was received by the authorities as the speculation it was, and the potential case against her was never pursued for insufficient evidence. The next target of the bizarre, innumerable, and the slander was Yoshihiko Ochi, recorded in the report as the only corpse among the 30 discovered intact. After all, mass murder of female students by their own teachers was an even more attractive storyline for the classless scum of the world. Since it had a strong think of scandal than the alternative, the media leaped onto this new theory with all enthusiasm of dog thrown red meat, adding in insinuation of sexual assault to his pupils just for spice. With their slander, their talk about Ochi's starved, pitiful cause far more cruelly than any knife could be. In consideration of these extreme extenuating circumstances, no posthumous charges were ever filed against Ochi, but much like that lone survivor, society presumed him guilty. Who can't damn it isn't the problem. To keep this story from repeating itself, the only thing that is understanding why.
でもそれだけじゃ面白くないんだろうね、きっと。
The hell's wrong with this country anyway? Maybe I don't have the right to complain as someone who was born and raised in Japan and never tried to change a thing about it. But I also seen this country from an outside perspective and it's routinely made me sound in disgust. Wherever you go, people are fundamentally no better than they are anyway else. I know that rationally, and I experienced this many times, but it always brings on a nauseating surge of bitterness. I'm fully prepared to die the unappreciated death of a stray dog. Still, every time I feel this familiar waste or disappointment, I can't help but wonder what I've been crawling through the mud for. It makes me want to vomit. Amane, are you done yet? I'm starting to feel a little sick to my stomach.
ありがとう、付き合ってくれて。大丈夫？
Yeah, but I don't want to hang around this place longer than necessary. Let's dig out whatever Kazuki buried and get out of here.
うん。でも何が入ってるんだろうね。ちょっと見るのが怖いよ。
Huh. Reasonably not. There's not telling what's going to come out of that hood. Kazuki last will and test my mind, but we saw that on the scales of possibilities. Considering the circumstances back then, if by any chance we were to dig out her decapitated head, even understanding that the ideas that I learned a long time ago not to put anything past Kazuki, even the physically impossible. Kazuki, huh? For a long time, I almost never spoke to my sister neighbor. Lately, it's been different. On the blank cannot tell. The restaurant built by the family of victim, that name is listed with all the others. The name of the 13 who died in this place. Kaneda Saya, Komori Megumi, Hiroka Tamaki, Sakurai Miyu Shikana Tsukasa, Ozawa Yoko, Okabe Tomo, Sakurai Minori, Ibuki Haruna, Kazami Kazuki, Ochi Yoshihiko, Koide-risu, Sakashita Chiaki. As I run my eyes across the list and go into the source, something catches my attention. Sakashita Chiaki. That name, hold on.
おっとっとですよね。これは失礼。私は坂下と申しましてね。天音さんの大ファンなんですよ。
Your father? Could it be a coincidence or that's...
ユージ、どうしたの？気分でも悪いの？
まさか。Quiet! What is this? There's something unpleasant in the air. Uh-oh. It's too quiet. Not even a bird singing. As the tree rushed in the winds, I finally pick up the scene of a familiar menacing presence. My breath catches in my throat. In an open rocky clearing with little in the way of the shelter, I caught the murderous scene of an enemy. I'm gonna get down. Reacting instantly, I leave the movement shaman is here, shielding her with my body before you got there's a pilot thrust against my right shoulder from behind. Draw! In the next split second, the shattered sound of the gunshot rings off the cliff and soared into the trees above, rattling my eardrums. The next thing I hear is a dull thump.
ユージ!
You got shot!
まさか気づかれるとは驚いたな。まるで野生動物みたいに勘のいい男だね。
Oh, screw you!
あなたは一体何を？
はい、どうも。周防天音さん。お会いするのは初めてだったかな。私はね、坂下千秋の父親で、坂下刑事と申します。
Oh, I see. Her father avenging her daughter's death.
天音さんにおかれましてはお元気そうで何よりです。はい。
坂下部長の。
そうですよ。あなたが見殺しにした。いや、あなたが殺した坂下千秋の父親です。
But for your information, father, your daughter is very, very, very stupid.
あなたが殺した坂下千秋の父親です。ああ、かわいそうな千秋。なんでこんなことになっちゃったんでしょうね。
No, your daughter is shit. Why? She don't want us to go out in the forest in the first place. That's why this happened.
これが運命だっていうなら、あまりにも残酷で、もうね、神を恨む思いですよね。でもほら、なんて言うんでしょうかね。神とかってね、人の弱さが生み出した概念的なものっていうか、ね、実体のないものを憎んでもね。で、まあ私は思うわけですよ。何かこう存在としてのありがたみとでも言いますか、この手で触れることのできる対象と言いますか、わかりますかね。
ユージ！
動くなボケ！私の話の途中でしょうが、聞きなさいよ。ねえ。
That's a freaking creepy face. Creepy face. See his face.
最近の若いやつはどいつもこいつもてめえのことしか考えやがらねえ。救いようのないクズだな。おい。 まったくもう、まったくどいつもこいつもまったく動くなよ。今弾入れ替えるから。
Shit.
ユージ。
Yeah, I'm alright. Although I repeatedly offer reassurance back on the matter is not about the situation is remotely alright. All well and good that I sensed that shot murderous aura in time to pull Manila, but I didn't manage to completely escape the widely scattered but shot pellets. In fact, I thought an enormous stone had smashed into my right shoulders. The blood flowing from my wound quickly grows cold against my back, flash glowing my shirts to my body. But considering the amount of blood, the flow doesn't seem that intense. I've only got a number of small pellets lodging in my shoulder. I was not going to prove fatal in the short term, but when I tried to pull myself out of the ground, my back screamed with pain. I tried to find a less painful way to move, reaching my body like a caterpillar. Where is the waste effort? That first huge step of pain has all but paralyzed my body. Keeping still, but the only way able to maintain composure.
よし、娘の話をしよう。
Your musume is dead already. What else we want to discuss? I finished reloading shells into his break action vertical double barrel shotgun. Sakashita mumbles what these words to himself in an orderly calm tone of voice, staring up into spaces. Observing his suddenly placid behavior, my throbbing heartbeat slowly began to settle down. At the very least, it seems he doesn't intend to kill us immediately. Set down a small signal to wait for now. With a flick of my eyes, I quickly settled back to watch and wait.
千秋はね、私が30の頃に授かった娘でね、親の勧めもあって26で結婚した私が愛してもいない妻と苦労して作った娘なんですよ。正直ね、子供なんて欲しくはなかったんですよね。でもね、老いた両親に熱望されてしまえば無下に断るわけにもいかない家系でしてね。私の父は戦後の混乱期に不動産で財を成した資産家でしてね。私は父のそんな火事場泥棒まがいの商売を継ぐのが嫌でよく反発しては生意気を言うなと殴られたものですよ。おっと、違うな。娘の話でしたよね。まあね、そんな毛嫌いしていた父親の勧めで地方銀行の頭取の娘を嫁にもらったのが26。見てくればっかり気にして夫をまるで下男でも見るような目で見るクズ女でしたが、なんとか子を仕込むことに成功しましたよ。そこで生まれてきたのが千秋です。名前を付けたのは私です。いえ、名前に深い意味はありません。生まれたのが10月、つまり秋で、千の幸あれと適当につけた名前ですよ。でもね、不思議なものですよね。いざ生まれてみると、これがもう可愛くて仕方がないんですよ。
Lovely. The hell has that got to do with us? The words almost emerged from my mouth, but I bit my tongue. Right now, we are powerless. Our eyes fixed on the hunting show against Sakaki's hand. One and I can do not listen to his words. Apparently, pleased by a receptive attitude, Sakashita continues to his monologues in a relaxed, easy tone of voice.
生まれた経緯はどうであれ、私にはとても大切な、自分の分身とも言えるほどに大切な子だったのですよ、千秋は。そんな千秋がですよ、合宿の帰りに行方不明になったと聞かされた時の私の驚きが想像できますか。もちろんすぐに探してくれと依頼しましたよ。ヘリを含め1日に70万円かかると言われた捜索費も全て私が負担しました。ところが2週間経っても見つからない。まさかこんな場所で、移動経路の予定にないこんな旧道の外れでバスごと滑落したとは誰も予想していなかったんですよ。
Yeah, it's very weird. No one suspected they are missing in this path.
もちろん私も思ってもみませんでしたし、ことによると 某国に拉致されたのではとすら思っていたのですから、随分と的外れな場所ばかりを探していたのでしょうね。そして周りの誰もが諦めかけた頃、あなたがたった一人で生還しました。もちろん捜索隊を再編成し、すぐに救助に向かわせましたが、間に合わなかった。回収された千秋の亡骸は8つに分断されていました。まさに八つ咲きというやつです。私はね、まるで自分の身を裂かれたような思いですよ。泣きましたとも。収容先の病院で白いシーツをかけられた千秋にすがりつくようにして、年がいもなく大声を上げて泣きました。なんて運のない子だろう。できれば代わってやりたかったと、そう思うことで私も一時は納得したのです。
And how do you know we are coming here?
ところがね、娘を亡くしてからというもの、どうやら私も運に見放されてしまったようでしてね、何をやってもうまくいかんのですわ。仕事はもちろん家庭もうまくいかず、妻には離婚され、年老いていた私の父も他界、母も父の後を追うようにして半年後に他界しました。
So now you are alone.
もしかしたら千秋がおじいちゃんとおばあちゃんを迎えに来たのかもしれません。千秋は見えて甘えん坊な部分がありましてね、祖父も祖母も大好きだったんですよ。それから4年、私も千秋の迎えを待ちながら頑張って生きてきたのですがね、ダメでした。何もかもがダメでした。仕事もうまくいかず、負債ばかりが増え、気がつけば幹部社員の何人かが同時に退社を申し出てきました。そうなってしまえばもう会社を畳むしかありません。娘を失い、両親を亡くし、妻と社員に逃げられ、会社もなくした。私にはもう残っているのは借金ぐらいのものですよ。
What a sad life you have.
さて、これから何をすればいいのか、私の頭の中は真っ白ですよ。どうすればいいのかなんて何も思いつかない。そんな時でした。とある情報筋と言いますか、娘の元同級生から私のもとに連絡が入りましてね。
Oh, that one at the festival.
その子が言うには、三島崎駅前のお祭りで周防天音を見かけたって言うんですよ。ああ、そういえば我々の前から逃げるようにして忽然と姿を消した周防天音さんの情報に以前私は賞金をかけたな。
So I see now why there's a reason why I'm gonna transfer to that school.
なんて思い出しましてね。忘れかけていたところにふっと思い出したあなたの名前に、私はね、そう、運命のようなものを感じたんですよ。こうね、真っ白だった頭の中にね、ぽっかりと浮かんできたんですよ。自分が何をしたらいいのか、何をやり残していたのか、明確にね。
That's the reason you attacked us?
はい、そうです。これは復讐と言いますか、制裁です。はい。
Retribution, are you serious? Confirming that my pulse had largely settled down while hearing out Sakashita's idiotic life story, I dig my hands into the gravely ground and pull myself to my knees.
ユージ!
It's mine, get back. Grab my money straight with a hand caught in sticky blood. I draw her body behind mine. Stop trying to numb the pain of your failure by pushing the blame onto a scapegoat. All you're really looking for is an excuse to end your miserable life. If you want to die, do it alone. Don't take people who still have a future down with you.
これは驚きましたね。言うじゃないですか。銃が怖くないんですか？あなた、風見裕二さん、あなた何なんです？何か妙に重厚慣れしていますね。若者特有の辛い針というわけでもなさそうですし、まるで何度も銃口の前に立ったことがあるみたいに妙に落ち着いている。おもちゃではないことは撃たれたあなたが一番よく理解しているでしょう。
As the general said, he thrusts forward the muzzle of his gun. The twin barrels coated with black plates to prevent barrels from flashing a warning to unsuspected prey, literally dotted in the afternoon sun. None of that matters. Sakashita-san, respectfully, sir, you are full of shit. You want to find a new purpose in life? Fine. Good for you. I don't give a damn. But retribution, who the hell do you think you are? You're just taking out your misery on others. Who died and made your jury, your judge, jury, and executioner? That's a shotgun and a high luck shot where you make it to some kind of holy warrior. Because from where I stand, you look more like a condescending, arrogant lunatic. If you had a real reason to deliver retribution, if you were qualified to play that role, maybe I will accept your judgment. But I'm not going to play along with a temper tantrum or some idiotic child who can only hold himself together by forcing his misery on others. Don't make me fucking laugh.
これは参りましたね。思った以上に弁の立つ方だ。なんかもう必死ですよね。私を怒らせて天音さんに銃口が向かないようにしているつもりですか？私が怒りに任せてあなたに向けて2発撃ち込めば、弾を込めている間に天音さんを逃がすことができるとでも？あはは、これは参った。なんという勇気だ。あなた勇者じゃないですか。かっこいいですな。
Alright, I permit you to have a crush on me.
ではお望み通り殺してあげましょうか。
Feel free to try. Feel free. As the roller people who bother to strike out threats like, do you want to die? Are about to follow through on them. When someone wants you dead, they'll kill you, not wasting their time giving you a sermon. What this man really wants is to see us cowering on the ground, begging for our life. Ideally, it's not running down our faces. What are you doing, Amane? Amane?
ほう、どうしました、天音さん。
あなたの娘を見殺しにしたのは私よ。あなたが殺したいのは私でしょ。ユージは関係ないわ。むしろ家族を失ったあなたと同じ被害者よ。
ほうほう、それで私はどうなっても構わないから風見さんは助けてほしいとそうおっしゃる。
おっしゃるわ。
おっしゃられてもね。さてさて、これはどうしたものか。
Amane, what are you doing?
死に場所が欲しいなら私がここで一緒に死んであげるから。
Amane!
いいからユージは黙ってて。これは私とこの人の問題なのよ。
はあ、そんなにも大切ですか、この風見さんが。
Sakashita's face twisted into a habitually mocking expression of a man rotting into his paw. Amane realized her mistake. This man had no intention of letting me go from the start. He intended all along to kill me before her eyes, to force her to suffer the agony of losing someone precious to her, and only then take her life. No, it's entirely possible that I was the only target from the very beginning. He may want nothing more than to force Amane into the depths of despair, to leave her stranded in her agony, crawling pitifully through a living hell.
私はね、ずっとね、こういう機会を待っていたんですよ。誰もね、私の悲しみなんざ理解しちゃくれない。私にはね、 もうこんなことぐらいしか残ってないんですよ。
You know, you're one hell of a nuisance, old man.
でしょうよ。出なければ意味がない。もっと理不尽をかみしめてくださいよ。それが私の唯一の慰めになるのですから。はい。
最低だわ。
いいですね。もっと私を憎みましょう。もうね、どんどん憎もう。そしてもっともっと苦しみましょう。よし、逃げていいですよ。
は？
だから逃げていいと言っているんですよ。もっと無様に、もっと惨めに、もがくようにして生にしがみつく姿を私に見せてください。はい、よーいドン。ほら、どうした？走れ！
What a stupid face you make, old man. I was stung by the sounds of Sakashita's blast into the sky. I will not reverse my collar. Force with my fan drags me down the rocky path and the dead run. Gah. As I forcibly drag to sudden my spirit creeps painfully and my wounds shoulders pulsate with agony. Amane! My voice doesn't reach her ears. Half carrying me, she runs in sheer desperation, practically putting every inch she possibly can between us and that man.
あの人ももう人間じゃない。鬼だ。
Amane's tearful, choked voice trembles with terror. Simply flee from the mocking laughter behind us is the most we can do. More times than I can count, we lose our footing on the uneven ground, half crawled over shrubs, rocks, and thick vegetation. We run desperately directionlessly, thinking only gaining distance from our pursuer. Whenever we come to a momentary halt, a blast gun growls the ground only a little behind us. Fighting to keep our legs moving, we eventually lose our sense of where we're going. As we splash across the small stream, Amane and the other has used all their water source. Our menace is shattered and bloody vanishes.
もう大丈夫かな。追ってこないみたい。
No, he's here, hiding himself but watching us closely.
わかるの？
Only by intuition, but I don't think he give up so easily either. And I guess Sakashita must be a recreational hunter. The first time we met, he approached me with perfect stealth, then vanished like a ghost into the station crowd after our conversation had concluded. Most likely, he got extensive experience hunting large wild game like deer or bears. Such animals can notice the presence of a typical human being from a good 200 meters away. Hunting such creature requires the ability to blend perfectly into their surroundings, escape quickly, and applicable to stalking other humans. This man's a serious goddamn nuisance. Gah.
ユージ、怪我は？
There's definitely something lodging in my right shoulder. The pain is unendurable, but I need to get this bleeding stopped or things are going to get ugly. As in our desperate flight, we left our backpacks and pouches behind at the memorial. We don't have even the most basic of medical supplies on hand.
どうしよう。傷口を縛ろうにも背中と肩じゃ。
That is a problem, but at this rate, the bastards is going to slowly torture us to death either way. We have to fight back somehow. We have absolutely nothing in the way of weapons at hand, and having been shown ability to fight is dubious as bad. In that case, Amane, let's play out here and escape separately.
でも。
He wants to kill me in front of you. If we try to run away together, that's how this will end. Also, it might be unfair for me to put it in this way, but I can't operate easily alone. I want you to focus on escaping.
嫌だよ。またそんなの。どうしてユージまでそんなことを言うの？それじゃ和樹の時と一緒だよ。そんなの絶対に嫌。私もう逃げないって決めたんだから。
Of course, I'm not playing it just to run. I played the decoy, luring him out by pretending to flee, and then Temper crushes him. In a fight where you had added the responsibility to protect our this is better strategy, please try to understand. End the episode here. I believe in the next one we are going to finish this. Yes, the next episode we are going to finish this. Okay?